Hello and welcome. Right, we are back on this beautiful little map whose name escapes me at this precise moment. It does actually, it's true. It's Hazelnut Farm, I believe. It got for an American sort of thing. I was like quite surprised by the name. It was in the American section. I thought that sounds like it's English, but it's Kentucky. Yeah, where the home of Kentucky Fried Chicken is what I would be the most famous to me for. Right, so we need to grab the mover, and we need to. Now we're going to keep this on the back of a tractor. I think we probably could. Yeah, we could. I think that's not a bad idea. So I think we'll keep it on the back of this sort of a tractor. Yeah, we will. So let's get this done and get the... I'm going to go straight into a time lapse because it lends itself to this kind of thing. It's going to be a bit of a beast, I think. Yeah, I do think it will be because there's going to be a lot of scooting. The water's being filled in the self-sufficiency. So, yeah, let's get cracking. So I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. Right, not too shabby. I think, yeah, because I know myself from doing this in Sri Lanka that the grass doesn't disappear. So I don't think we're going to come all the way back up here for this. But I think this was the last patch. This was the one that I said was a little tiny bit. Oh, it's really lousy sort of things, isn't it? You can't see terribly well at all. These are the bits we've done. Ah, we missed a bit right down in the town. Quite a bit, actually, yeah. Oh, dead opposite where we are. You know, like we're originally... Oh, and a bit beyond there as well. That little bit. Was there... No, I think there's only at the top that. Right, so yeah, let's take this back. So maybe advisable to come back. I'm trying not to make too many entrances, but you could do this. It's easy enough because I do what they've done there. I know obviously the game hasn't got that ability for you to put... So there is something you can, but it doesn't look quite right. But yeah, you can't put a tube in, and because that's what you'd do in real life. You'd like put one of those in underneath so the water would flow, but I just fill it in, and obviously some of it's... poetic license, really. You know, that's what you would do, but the game doesn't allow it, so therefore you don't. Right, so which way are we heading? Yeah, I'm a bit confused at the minute about... so it's sort of... Yeah, either way, we would end up at our place. Yeah, this is the bit where there's a bit of grass in the middle, but I looked at it and I thought, this is really high, and there's the property here, I think, which sort of takes up all of the grass. So it's not really something you can truthfully grab. Yeah, it's one of those on the map that you think, oh, look, there's a load of grass. Yeah, there is a bit. There is... You could cut this patch here, but look at how... It's like a sheer drop almost. So I think all things considered, we'll let this one pass. Oh, apologies. Luckily there's no crop that we can disturb. I just wanted to show you, so I wouldn't normally do that. But, right, so let's get across here, and there is definitely at least more than I thought. I am wondering whether the biogas plant is a little bit too ambitious for the cash that we've got. Whether we use what I have done a few times, the self-sufficiency has got a couple of like sort of tricks up its sleeve. One which is mineral feeds, so we could obviously we've got a few. We could actually make a few fields. Oh, okay. I thought, yeah, we could make a few fields out of the little bits that we've got, and actually this very month plant some oats and put the oats in and make some mineral feed. It's not a bad... It's not super, but it's not bad either. It's a good, you know, like my back's against the wall type thing for you to actually grab. So do we go back into a time lapse? It's more down into the town, wasn't it? I think across there. Can we? Yeah, we made a route through, didn't we? And then I think we forgot we'd got to go back. Yeah, so this is not bad. This has got quite a few bits and bobs that... so let's grab this. Yeah, there's a lot of telegraph poles, and of course there's a lot of... yeah, the other thing is we've got a lot of wood, a lot of trees as assets. So I think you've got to go with what the area's specialities. There's a lot of trees that we've got on our land. So it's not the right kind of trees for chopping logs, but we can use the chipper, use Rawley Christie's and make the boarding factory, which I've used quite a lot. But then again, that's because a lot of maps have got trees like this, so it lends itself. We will need Rawley Christie's though, the devour trees, definitely, because I'm not using lumberjack mod, although I have done it in the past. It's very, very wasteful. Right, so let's just send the drones up. Where else have we missed? To the left. There's a little tiny patch. This is that one that I was saying where there are a couple of spots, but we don't own a lot over here. It's sort of like little tiny trickles, and then the rest of it's like the net 71s sort of like thing. It's a bit... Yeah, this is the patch I said that would only really hold either a very small field, which is it's too... No, it's just not... This is definitely more a production, if anything. Yeah, or we just ignore it and maybe cut grass like we have done with this, sort of going forward. So with we need the digestate is why we're doing this. Not we don't need the grass, but we could make our own TMR. I obviously would like to go animals. I think it's more about. Oh, we have another one of these snarl-ups. Right, so let's switch traffic off again and clear it. It takes a few minutes to snarl up like that, so I think there's not a lot more grass, but we'll have a quick look. Yeah, I didn't want to go through that one. You've got to like snarl, argue with the telegraph pole all the time. No, we need to go quite heavily left, or we're going to wallop that tree as we pull in. I've got a healthy respect for the mover. You've got to always think about height with it, and obviously it does still catch out, even though I know about it and all the rest of it. It still is one of those. One of these times I'm going to like slide that, and it's going to be right at the right place. Yeah. Come on, you can. It's obviously it's spatial awareness. You can't always sort of look right where you think. So let's have send the drones up again and see, have we missed all of those tiny little. No, that's not our land. It's just around that bit there was the last bit. Done around there. That was yes, opposite. That's the biggest patch we've got just opposite there. I think we did. I mean, there's tiny little, there's a couple of little blobs I missed there. I'm not worried about that. And the bit that we said, that around there, which is tiny. Oh, it's more than you think. It's a way away, though. Oh, no, that's not out. That's like literally edge of land. It looks a bit like a windrow, but it's not. So it's actually opposite. Over there is where we need to be. And I think that's the last big patch that we've got. And as I said, it's not going to be wasted because we're going to chop the grass again. Or we're going to make fields. Yeah, I think I'd sooner make fields, but some of this is going to have to remain grass because it's too nasty. We've got our plough. So again, that's going to be another session. And we need to sort of plant quite quickly. So I think it's up here on the left behind these houses. I think. Yeah, this is, of course, this is right our house, isn't it? Yeah, this is where we started cutting the grass. It's coming back to me. No, we're on. Yeah, this was the first area we did, right in the, just behind town. Yeah, so again, one of the biggest areas we've got, this is one of the best sort of things that would lend itself to a field. So maybe this is like one of our fields, and we'll like chop this. Make a oat field. It's not going to be. We're not going to make a fortune. It's a good recipe. I've like designed it so that it's not cheaty, but that it is not a silly one that doesn't actually. I think we need to come back again. Brilliant. I'm not complaining. Yeah, that's good. The more times we come back, the better. And that means that we've like got a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think we'll get another, probably a half load. Fantastic. I like it. It's more than I thought. Right, so yeah, it's there's a few little sort of sneaky things I thought when we start chopping a few trees that we can make a few inroads that are going to be quite useful for us to save a bit of time on this, because the only thing about any kind of fields and that like this is they really are, it's time consuming. You're going around things and all that type. So it's not like normal farming. You waste a lot of time. I mean, don't get me wrong. C'est la vie. This is, the area we work in, and this. But if there are a few little like behind the self-sufficiency, you can actually get right the way through to that area that we sort of got to do some grass. So that's not a bad idea. When we start chopping trees down, we could like level a little area and make a path through once we chop a few trees. Do we make a route across there? Because it is sort of, it's a bit of a That's what I'm sort of trying to say. A few well-placed like ways across when there's not one for a while. I think this is one. This has got a massive like moat all the way around. I can't. Oh no, no, it has. It's got away. No, straight across. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not making ones whether they exist already. I wouldn't mind buying Field 1 at some point quite soon. Again, I thought we might get those with the, buying the land, but you don't. But you needed the land. You needed the land first, I think. I mean, we could have bought loads of field and we could have done this a different way, but this is more sort of like pioneery, and I quite like this because, cutting our own fields, they're going to be bigger as well. I mean, especially this one, this is going to be a nice sized field, whereas others are quite tiny little things. And with it being America, could do some sugar cane, would be quite a nice thing to do. And they don't need to be very large fields, really, to get a bit of quite a bit of product. So I'm trying to think what I haven't done for a while. Well, we could go. I suppose we could do the luxury desserts. One of my favourites mods. It needs a lot. You need chickens. You need cows for milk. So it's quite expensive, but it's also lucrative, as anything is like that. So we're looking for the little entrance, which is just up a little bit. That's why I missed it last time. So not bad. So I think that's quite a lot more grass than I thought. I was thinking, it's only going to be like 100,000 litres, but with all these little patches, it's actually far more than that, which is brilliant. Yeah, I will replant trees. My rule is 2 for 1. That's what we're going to plant back. Might do hedges around the edge of the moats to make it sort of quite nice. Trying to think what tree. Yeah, I'm using. I think it was the American elm that I used on Riverbend Springs. That looks quite nice. It's not too. They're not too tall, but they make quite a fairly decent hedge. Quite dense, because they go quite close together and grow into each other. Not a perfect hedge, but not bad. And taller than this traditional hedge, right? So how well did we do, all things considered? Yeah, we filled the water, and wow, we nearly filled. So the grass is going to need, I'll show you the recipe. It's 1,000 for 1,000, but obviously you only produce, so you need equally as much water, which strangely enough we have actually got. So that is much better, more grass than I considered. So our next cut would be in July if we were going to do the same again. But if we're going to do what I'm sort of saying, we either buy a field and like rip it up, or we do, well, no, I think we'll stick to the plan. Yeah, if we send the drones up, it's probably the easiest way. It's a fairly big-sized field, that area there. If we like chop that where you can see all those wheel marks are, yeah, as big as we can go all the way around there. I don't know if we own that. We will see by what we cut, what we actually did and where we couldn't go. Yeah, that's not ours here. I thought that's literally where those wheel marks are. We own like half of that. It's a fairly big field, really. I mean, oats is not the best, we know this, but nevertheless, I mean, it goes all the way down there. I only keep some of my wheel marks because it's quite a... Yeah, the graphics do cost a bit, and also it forgets them after a bit. I don't have it on monstrously amount because it does take a lot of memory and all the rest of it, and graphics. So I try to keep that one to a reasonable amount. Yeah, so I think that's the plan. We will do a oat field at the back of that, which does mean we've either got to lease or buy a harvester, really. And if we're thinking of sugar, if we're thinking of doing that, there's beet equipment, and probably something like the Sublevamus wood be necessary too. So if we're going to go for harvesting like that, it means that we're probably not going to go for JHHGs. Now, looking at the size of the fields, it doesn't need to be a monster. So I think it's more about the header we've got is about perfect. So I think, all things considered, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, so a mini harvester, one of ours, we'll go for. But again, money is tight. So we're going to rip a couple of fields up, the biggest areas we've got, and we will make a couple of oat fields. Let's just see, is there another area that's sort of quite big in the areas that we've got? This one's not bad. This is a fair hefty patch. This one's not. This one around here was a bit just about. No, I don't think for oats. It's not. Yeah, we'll go for the. So there's the one that we said, and there is that one above there. It's only a small field. Yeah, again, oats. I think no, probably not. This patch, I don't know. It's equally to that one. Probably, yeah. I think we'll do a one there and one there. The two together will be reasonable, is all I'm going to say. So I think that's it. I don't think there was. Let's have a look on this map now. Let's see if there's anything we're missing of the bigger patches. Yeah, so that's the bit. If we just press 88, yeah, that was a big patch. And then we've got those two little patches that we just said there. That's a point over there was not too terrible. Now, that was quite a big patch, so we could do a field that's equal to that one there. These two are probably the best. In fact, yeah, probably those two are the best. Ignore these two little ones, which may be all right for sugar cane, but they wouldn't be any good for anything else. Everything else, that's a bit hilly and is very narrow. So again, more like a sugar cane. I don't know if we did. I think we shot that, but it's only a very small bit and it's quite hilly, as you can see from the contours. These were the banky bits where it banked up quite a bit, and then these bits here were that's where that little thing is, where there's only tiny weeny bits that are not really suitable. And this is the bit where I showed you the sheer drop where it goes to here. So really, I think only it's obviously, all things considered, this and this, and I think then we'll start to buy fields, proper fields, and maybe just increase them, like make them go together a little bit, or keep them separate. I think that one's better separate. We could I think this strange shaped fields, and I think none of them are particularly large, which is why I was thinking you don't really need something like JHHGs unless you were going to go up to like this. Yeah, then you probably could. That's not a bad sort of thing. I think it's got that's a live animal dealer, isn't it? Yeah. And then, of course, we have got our business that we've sort of seemed to be forgetting, which we could do at any time. And there's also the boarding factory that lends itself to this. So I want to try and stick to what is good. So maybe not what we said. I think we'll stick to what we said. I want the concrete factory to be the biggest one. Maybe do some sheep, because this kind of thing, it's not really good cow sort of, unless it's in not a pasture, in a proper like man-made thing. We could do it like that, a smaller one, I think. But again, mainly just for a dairy, perhaps. Yeah, a bit of chocolate, or for saying we leveled that with the leveling tool. It's a bit undulating, isn't it, really? Oh well. Anyway, yeah, all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. So we're going to stick, I think, yeah. So, sorry, I apologise for doing that. I'm a terror for it. Yeah, we'll stick to sort of like what suits the area. We've got plenty of trees, plenty of wood. So the chipping factory, the concrete factory, because we've got that massive pile of stones. And if that runs out, we actually sink a mine in that I have actually made a couple of mines. Yeah, and some quite powerful, and some that are just chuggers. And I think a chugger would suit it. I'm trying to retrain myself, because I tend to keep going for supers all the time, and I'm like, you don't always want to overpower everything. That's not. You just sort of sometimes a smaller production is just going to chug nicely and produce quite a bit of profit. Because not always does it suit everything to like burst out and do super duper well. You want to do your best, but sometimes A chugger will do quite nicely. And I wanted to bring that out as well. So, yeah, I mean, we've got the standard mini self-sufficiency. It's not a bionic. It's not a super. And that's still going to do us proud. And I'd like, yeah, the dairies, I insist on a super because dairies are terrible. And you need some oomph to get a dairy to work. But only, again, with a bigger farm. So, trying to think of like sheep. There's not much big land, is there? Let's just have a quick look on the map again, see if there's anything not too far away. Oh, some interesting fields up there. Is there any these that no? You this is where you start to talk. You know, you're buying quite a big. Oh yeah, but I suppose is there anything cheaper than that? These don't look too undulating. Yes, it's mainly forestry. I mean, there are larger fields, but it's true the area we've chosen. It's all little fields, and you can see it's very hilly. I mean, I'm amazed at just how small this map is. It's quite phenomenal. I can't see anything local. That's quite hilly, as we can see. Oh my life, that's actually buying all the periphery, the river and everything. I think we'll say no to that. I don't think we're going to be getting up to that kind of cash anytime soon. So I'm trying to think. I can't see anything particularly that lends itself unless we robbed a field, like say field 12, which let's visit it and see, is it big enough to actually do something like that? Maybe that's all it's good enough for, like just a one set of animals. It's not too far away from where we are. It's only just literally up the road, so you could do that. It's doable. It's not a big field. It's never going to amount to much in that. So to have sheep on it possibly is not a bad idea. How much does it cost? It can't be too much because it's not very large. Yeah. And it really is just that. You don't get any, that the land bits, as we've seen, you buy the land, which would be that. No, it wouldn't actually. Oh, wow, that surprises me. You'd think that would be that, wouldn't you? Is it? No, it's a field. Isn't this ours? No, not all of it. That's what I was thinking. Is it? How do you get that then? If that's below, is it 71? No. So where's that then? 90, perhaps? Yes. Oh, my life. Now that's if you wanted to do forestry. Now that really is, although it is 1 million. So yeah, I mean it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, that's the patch. So I don't think we'll be reaching that. Yeah, field 12. I think for animals, I think that's not a bad. It's fairly hefty and a goodly size, whereas 10's a little bit narrow and skimpy, and no doubt is actually not very expensive. They're all very reasonable, the fields themselves, because they're all quite small, unless you like go further afield, and then there's some medium to large size fields, really. Yeah, that one's not too far off, like field 7, but off down the road a little bit. I mean, no, I'm happy. We're not going to move now. I mean, it's always nice things. It's a fairly hefty map, all things considered. How tiny it is. I can't get over how the map maker's done miracles with a little tiny bit of thing where other people produce a map that's a monster without, and you like think, why is this so large? It's it's nice, but it's not. This is beautiful, but still tiny, and it's got traffic. Amazing. We'll see if the AI splines work, because that's usually where most map makers, except for Farmer Bob, who is an expert map maker. Most map makers, including Farms in Briscoe, actually fail in that particular area. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this little map actually, if you can do the AI splines right. It would be, I'm interested to see. So yeah, I really am going this time honest, but I just thought I always like to brainstorm, because at the beginning of a Let's Play, it's all about what are we doing, and I think sometimes the land itself, or if there's a speciality in the area, although sometimes if there's too many people doing it, it's not a bad idea to actually do something different. So yes, we'll crack on like that, and we'll definitely do a dairy. And we may go to a biogas plant, as we originally planned. We may, but we shall see. So we need to carve a few fields first for a bit of mineral feed. And we've got to nurse the money that we've got and not keep spending it, because we'll not be able to like buy anything from the sales. You see, yeah, we've already got something come through, a giant of a beast of a thing. So yeah, that will sort that out next time. So yeah, all that remains to be said is goodbye for now.